racing on National Car Rental Racehorse Digest. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. We've got some great racing for you from this weekend with some major Breeders' Cup Day implications. We'll begin in New York with the richest race of the weekend, the $1 Million Jockey Club Gold Cup. Thoroughbreds 3 and up at 1.25 miles. Let's check the field now. The current odds presented by Las Vegas. The entry at 23, a big price. Barron's 4-5 is the race favorite with George Chavez. Almudo Wakel, the Dubai World Cup winner, at 7-2. And rounding out our field, River Keen at 12. Lemon Drop Kid, the Belmont winner, at 5. Stephen Got Even, 7-1. Now from Sunday's Breeders' Cup Preview Day at Belmont. Here's Tom Durkin's call, the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
The half at 46-2. Back ring out in front. River King glued to him as they race past the 5 furlong marker. And Bailey says go early with Almudo Wakel. Trying to move through in between horses. It's River King and Almudo Wakel. Back ring out is done. There goes Stephen Got Even. He's now third. Lemon Drop Kid advancing now 5 lengths from the lead. And Barron's is getting underway. Barron's still 6 lengths to make up. They've run 3 quarters in 1:10-1. Midway around the far turn. River Keen off the rail with the lead. They're in front by a length. Almudo Wakel is second. Stephen Got Even is under the whip outside the quarter pole. Barron's still 5 lengths behind. Canty Ennis has made up a huge amount of ground on the turn. And he's swinging into action on the far outside. Lemon Drop Kid is down on the rail. River Keen is on the lead at the top of the stretch. River King coming to the mid-stretch marker with a 2.5 length lead. Almudo Wakel's been in a drive for a quarter mile, but he's still second, and Barron's is still third. And then farther back in the field, Stephen Got Even. It's going to be River Keen and Chris Antley to win it. 3 lengths on the line. Barron's manages second. Almudo Wakel is third.
West Coast-based trainer Bob Baffert is becoming the king of New York. River Keen romps in the $1 Million Jockey Club Gold Cup. The 7-year-old returned $26 as the 12-1 fifth choice, even after winning the Grade 1 Woodward in New York in his last start. River Keen, owned by Hugo Reynolds, ridden by Chris Antley. Favorite Barron's just over 3 lengths back in second, ahead in front of the Dubai World Cup winner Almudo Wakel. The 3-year-old Belmont winner Lemon Drop Kid was fifth. River Keen has now earned over $1.6 million. ESPN's presentation of National Car Rental Racehorse Digest is brought to you by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. And by the American Quarter Horse Association, serving the American quarter horse racing industry and America's horse. Back on the Racehorse Digest, here are the money-leading thoroughbreds. Charismatic, you know, he's been retired, and Menifee now has been announced is through for the year there, 1-2 in the standings. Now to the Breeders' Cup Special Stakes scheduled this weekend, both on Saturday, both at Oak Tree at Santa Anita. In the first of our 2 thoroughbred race recaps, we're going to feature the big Grade 1 races from New York's Breeders' Cup Preview Weekend. Let's start with the Grade 1 Belle Dame Stakes, $500,000. Fillies and mares 3 and up. They go 1 1/8 on a sloppy racetrack. This was the first test for the brilliant 3-year-old filly Silver Bullet Day against older mares. She's trying to catch the 4-year-old Beautiful Pleasure. The yellow silks on the outside as they turn for home.
Bailey and Silver Bullet Day come up the inside at the top of the stretch. Beautiful Pleasure still holding the lead. 1 furlong to go. She's there by 3. Silver Bullet Day second and giving chase to Beautiful Pleasure, and she's not going to get to her today. Beautiful Pleasure will be the wire-to-wire winner of the Belle Dame beneath Jorge Chavez, winning by 4.5 lengths. Silver Bullet Day finishing second and contiguous third.
Beautiful Pleasure earns herself a trip to the Breeders' Cup with this impressive win in the slop for the full sister to Mecki. Beautiful Pleasure is trained by John Ward Jr. Was purchased for $480,000 at the Keeneland sales by Tulsa businessman John Oxley. Silver Bullet Day, the 2-5 favorite in the race, was starting for the first time against older fillies and mares and finished second. You'll be seeing the great big Manistique in this year's Breeders' Cup distaff as well. Here she is. You can't miss her. The big mare on the outside in the white and blue colors in this past weekend's Grade 2 Ladies Secret Breeders' Cup Handicap at Santa Anita's Oak Tree meeting. Manistique was the odds-on favorite under jockey Corey Nakatani. The daughter of Unvital won her 9th victory in 12 starts. She's now over $1.1 million in earnings. Manistique is trained by John Shiras for the 505 Farms. Shiras before this race said, Manistique needed to have a good performance to go to the Breeders' Cup. That's just where she's headed. Impressive win for the big mare Manistique. Jockey Corey Nakatani in the winner's circle at Oak Tree. Now to the Chicago area in the $500,000 Hawthorne Gold Cup, one of the fall features in the Midwest. Thoroughbreds 3 and up at 1.25 miles. On the lead on the rail here, the Michael Dickinson trained Supreme Sound under Randall Meyer. He'll be challenged in deep stretch by the race favorite Frank Stronach's Golden Missile, but at the wire, it's Supreme Sound holding on to win by a nose. Supreme Sound is a 5-year-old by Superlative, was bred in Great Britain and is owned by Peter Harris. This was Supreme Sound's American dirt track debut after winning on the turf in England, then coming to the States and running second to Jockey in the United Nations Handicap. Dickinson's assistant, Joan Wakefield, saddled the winner and called the $300,000 winning performance superb. Now let's pick up some key Breeders' Cup turf races from this past Saturday in New York and Kentucky. First, the Grade 1 $600,000 Turf Classic at Belmont Park, 1.5 miles on a firm turf course. Alan Paulson's Jockey the favorite. Here's Tom Durkin with the call.
They're coming to the top of the stretch. Sunshine Street under an energetic ride here now by Johnny Murtaugh, the leader by a head. Here comes Faris, and he's now in front. Val's Prince is right there. Dreamwell is looking for a seam. Yogley's back to 5th. Yogley's out of it. Less than a furlong to go. Val's Prince is the leader. Here comes Dreamwell flying at the fence. Time running out. It is Val's Prince. Dreamwell and Faris. Val's Prince has won the Turf Classic by a length.
The 7-year-old Val's Prince turns it on in the stretch and holds off the European invader Dreamwell to win the Turf Classic by a length under jockey George Chavez. Jim Bond was the winning trainer, is now 2 for 2 with Val's Prince since taking over his training before his win in the Man of War last month. Val's Prince and Dreamwell are both still pointing for the Breeders' Cup turf, as is the beaten favorite Jockey, who ran 4th. To a rainy Lexington, Kentucky now. Saturday's opening day at Keeneland for their fall meeting on a yielding turf course. It's the $400,000 Shadwell Keeneland Turf Mile. The favorite, the Bob Baffert-trained Joe Who.
Just over a 1/4 mile remaining. Kirkwall is striding forward now with Cahal giving chase. Delay of Game is very wide. Robin Jen dropping back toward the inside. Kirkwall, final furlong of the Shadwell Mile with Delay of Game charging up to engage the leader. Ladies Den is 3rd. Garbu is still far back. And Delay of Game strides forward to put Kirkwall to the test. Heads bobbing down to the line. Kirkwall comes back on the inside to win it by a neck over Delay of Game.
Juddmont Farms Kirkwall dismissed at 25-1. Held off Delay of Game in the stretch to win the Shadwell Keeneland Turf Mile by a neck. Kirkwall trained by Bobby Frankel, ridden by Victor Espinoza. Favorite Joe Who, look what happens here. Clipping heels at the back of the pack. Chris Antley and Joe Who both go down, both unhurt. Kirkwall paid $52 for the win. Looks like he's earned the trip to the Breeders' Cup Mile. The other major turf race at Keeneland Saturday, the $500,000 Grade 1 Queen Elizabeth Challenge Cup. 1.1 miles on the yielding turf course for 3-year-old fillies. Frank Stronach's Perfect Sting on the outside here was the race favorite under jockey Pat Day in those Stronach Black Racing Silks. Perfect Sting had won the Grade 1 Garden City Breeders' Cup Handicap in New York in his previous start. Now makes it 2 Grade 1 wins in a row, taking the Queen Elizabeth by 2 lengths over 2 Chamont. Perfect Sting, a 3-year-old daughter of Red Ransom, has now won 5 of her last 6 starts, and the $310,000 first prize pushes her over the $700,000 mark in career earnings. Winning rider Pat Day was especially impressed since he said Perfect Sting didn't like the soft course conditions. Owned and bred by Frank Stronach, she's trained by Joe Orsino. More thoroughbred racing with Breeders' Cup implications for the 2-year-olds coming up later on the Racehorse Digest. We'll see you next Wednesday again on the Racehorse Digest in early play, and then Wednesday at 1 o'clock. In quarter horse racing, a big weekend of action to determine finalists for 2 of the sport's major late-season events. At Turf Paradise in Phoenix, Arizona, the final spots for some of the MBNA America Racing Challenge Championships were decided, while action at Los Alamitos in Southern California provided another finalist for the Champion of Champions. The $200,000 Los Alamitos Invitational Championship, due its usual stellar cast, included were Old Habits, winner of the All-American Derby, the sport's all-time leading stakes winner, Cool Q Baby, defending world champion SLM Big Daddy, and the tough mare from Texas, Joanna Kate. Here's the call from Ed Burgard.
The And away they go in the Los Alamitos Championship, and SLM Big Daddy Metallico came away well. Swinging Bell is also right there. Cool Q Baby Joanna Kate is running a big one on the far outside as Joanna Kate is lugging out badly. Metallico now Old Habits getting going fast and on the inside, and Swinging Bell is also trying for an upset. Look at this finish. Joanna Kate, we're Old Habits very close between those two. Even Swinging Bell was right there, and a great finish to the Los Alamitos Championship.
Joanna Kate pulls off the upset in the Los Alamitos Invitational and grabs her first stakes win on the West Coast. This 4-year-old mare has always kept good company, but her victory over the All-Star cast was still unexpected, as you see by those payoffs by most of the Los Alamitos fans. Champions Cool Cute Baby and SLM Big Daddy were not a factor. Joanna Kate is owned by Joanne Adams, trained by Pat Swan, ridden by his wife Tommy Swan. The 4-year-old mare could make a big splash on the West Coast, having already qualified for the MBNA America Racing Challenge Championship, and now she has a berth in the Champion of Champions as well. Let's move down to Turf Paradise in Phoenix, Arizona for challenge action. Royal Anon was looking for the $57,000 purse, having already secured his challenge final spot. But this was a glint of gold's day to shine.
Racing, No Woman, No Cry broke in the air. Oh, what a memory's going fast in the blue silks to be one of the leaders with a glint of gold in the green. Also, Dash of Essence is there, and BCR the Rain Man in second down. Kelly running bold races on the inside. A glint of gold, and BCR the Rain Man, BCR the Rain Man, a glint of gold. A glint of gold goes home too well to beat BCR the Rain Man. Third might be Royal Anon.
A glint of gold, who finished second in Los Alamitos Invitational winner Joanna Kate in Texas in July, gets his own spot in the $300,000 Challenge Championship Finals. BCR the Rain Man was second, while Royal Anon settled for third. Alice O'Neill owns a glint of gold, who has been a frequent challenge competitor over the years, now has a berth of his own, and another family reunion in the winner's circle here. Jockey Jerry Yoakum riding for his trainer father, Jesse Yoakum. The West-Southwest region also offered the final challenge spot in the 2-year-old division. Chick's Starlight came in as the fastest qualifier on the rail, but it was DRR Six-Pack who was looking to celebrate. He'll break from number 6.
Racing. Good break for Chick Starlight. Miss Taylor's Cash flashing pace from the outside. Ron's Memories is going hastily with I'm the Fast Man, and Winner Takes Cash and Agents of Fortunes there as well. Great battle with Chick Starlight on the inside, just in front. DRR Six-Pack's flying home. Photo coming up. DRR Six-Pack got up to win from Chick Starlight, and third would be Heisman Hopeful.
He was only the 5th fastest qualifier, but DRR Six-Pack put it all together for this, his biggest career victory. The West-Southwest winner is owned by Melvin Severson, trained by Wayne Brasher, ridden to victory by Vince Guerra. Turning now to trials of another sort. Lone Star Park at Grand Prairie, Texas. Held qualifying events for the 440-yard Dash for Cash Derby. Watch Okie Dokie Dale.
And they're off. And Okie Dokie Dale is out to a great beginning on the far outside. Gaining ground now toward the inside is Look Who's Cashing In Checks. Also running up between horses, Sensational Affair, but Okie Dokie Dale is money. Okie Dokie Dale winning like a 1 to 2 shot should. Wow, Okie Dokie Dale well cleared.
Yes, Dale was Okie Dokie indeed, winning by 2 3/4 lengths here in the fastest qualifying time for the Dash for Cash Derby. Earlier this year, he won the Ruidoso Derby and then finished second in the All-American Derby in New Mexico. Okie Dokie Dale on the outside here is owned by Howard Moore, trained for this victory by former jockey James Lackey, who qualified to pair for the finals. Jackie Martin was aboard for Okie Dokie's impressive victory. Well, the 9th race provided a grudge match of sorts between the 2 finalists for the champion 2-year-old filly title last year, Falling in Love Again and Delish.
And they're off. And breaking inward at the start was Au Revoir Dooley, losing all chance there. Toward the inside, Falling in Love Again is sent out for the lead. Gaining ground now between runners, Fast Debonair. On the outside, here comes a Delish. They're coming down toward the line, and it's Falling in Love Again. G.R. Carter Jr. falling in love again. Those ears are pinned back and streaking under the line. A winner by 2.5.
Falling in Love Again gets the best of her rival this time and checks in with the 2nd fastest time. But she'll have to contend with Delish again in the finals, as that one wound up 9th in the qualifying list. Falling in Love Again, winner of the last year's All-American Futurity, has a chance to finish her 3-year-old season in strong fashion, something she failed to do in 1998. The filly is owned by David and Susan Mackey, trained by Jack Brooks, ridden as usual by G.R. Carter. The Dash for Cash Derby Finals set for October 22nd at Lone Star in Grand Prairie, Texas. As we take a look at the leading money-earning trainers in thoroughbred racing, someone's going to have a great Breeders' Cup day to catch Bob Baffert. Look at his lead over Dwayne Lucas. And a reminder, join us at Keeneland this Sunday. NTRA 2-day at the races, Sunday 6 Eastern on ESPN. 2 of the fine lineup of top stakes races. Well, back to Sunday's Breeders' Cup preview day at Belmont Park, New York now, as we'll recap the 2-year-old fillies and colts looking towards Racing's Championship Day, November 6th. We'll begin with the Grade 1 $400,000 Frizette Stakes for juvenile fillies, going 8.5 furlongs on a sloppy track. This would be a fight to the wire between Surfside on the rail in Overbrook Farms colors, and to her outside, Darling My Darling. Here's Tom Durkin with the Frizette.
Off the turn, into the stretch, and Darling My Darling takes the lead. And Darling My Darling opening up, pulling away from Surfside. 4 lengths back. Finder's Fee is still third. In the final furlong, it's Darling My Darling, and Surfside is game. Surfside coming back to Darling My Darling. Darling My Darling ahead. Surfside has reclaimed the lead. It's Surfside and Darling My Darling in a thriller, and Surfside has won it.
Overbrook Farms Surfside will be shoreside at Gulfstream Park in Florida for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies next month. Owned and bred by Mr. W.T. Young. Surfside is by Seattle Sioux out of the 2-year-old champion filly and Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner, Flanders. Surfside are on the inside, following in her mother's footsteps with the same exact winning connection. Overbrook Farm with Mr. W.T. Young leading him into the winner's circle, trained by Dwayne Lucas, ridden by Pat Day. Now here's an amazing performance coming up from a very promising 2-year-old out of trainer Nick Zito's barn. The Champagne Stakes from Belmont Park Saturday, the $400,000 Grade 1 event, more than ready, the favorite, but never fired. Look, flying on the outside, came from dead last, Greenwood Lake. 6-1 shot on the green silks here, 9 lengths out at the top of the stretch, explodes here to win the Champagne. Nick Zito with Deja Vu. Last year, the Groom is Red went off at 6-1 and ran the very same race in the same winning style. Zito said he'll only send Greenwood Lake to the Breeders' Cup if the colt is 100% right. The John Kimmel trained Chief Seattle will go to the Breeders' Cup, as will High Yield. More than Ready's plans now undecided. Now let's head to the West Coast for 2-year-old fillies racing in the Oak Leaf Stakes at Santa Anita. The fans all coming out to see if the other Bob Baffert star filly, Chaluki, could remain undefeated. She has a perfect 5-for-5 record going into the Oak Leaf Stakes. We'll pick up the call with Trevor Denton.
A quarter of a mile to go now, and Chaluki puts her head in front, but Abby Girl's tough. She's not done. She's trying to cling to her. And let's see, Spain is making up ground, but she's still far back. They come for home. Chaluki on the grandstand side now taking the lead. Abby Girl is all heart, but Chaluki just has too much class. She's been fully extended today, drifting in a little late, but Chaluki's going to keep her unbeaten record intact. And Chaluki takes the Oak Leaf Stakes. A very game Abby Girl second, then Spain, Crown of Crimson, and she's classy. Finish last.
Sheer perfection. Chaluki now 6 for 6 lifetime and 2 back-to-back Grade 1 victories. David Flores rode her from off the lead this time, and it just doesn't matter where you place her, according to Baffert. She's just exceptional. Chaluki, a Keeneland sales alumni, owned by Robert McNair, amid big headlines this past week. The owner of the newly established NFL franchise in Houston. Next for Chaluki, the big event, the Breeders' Cup Day, November 6th. Well, it was the Lanes End Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland for 2-year-olds, a Grade 2 race worth $400,000 in Kentucky. Out of the gates, and for the remainder of the mile and the 16th distance, Captain Steve was in charge the entire way. Garrett Gomez was on board and commented that the colt did it so easily, even though he was looking around, taking in the sights along the way, and just goofing off out there. Bob Baffert said he's had to lean a little harder on Captain Steve in training, but this colt will be a contender when he gets serious. Captain Steve is owned by Mike Pegram, earning his first Greatest Stakes victory here and his second win in 5 career starts. He's also an alum of the Keeneland sales. No word yet if Captain Steve will head to the Breeders' Cup. The third-place finisher, Dwayne Lucas's Millencolin, will be there. Back to Santa Anita now for the Norfolk Stakes for 2-year-olds. Bob Baffert sending out the favorite here, Forest Camp at 2-5. Forest Camp is on the lead, but in the stretch, Dixie Union on the outside of their jockey Alex Solis hooks up with Forest Camp and keeps the pressure on. As Forrest Camp eventually gives way to Dixie Union for the late victory in his $200,000 stake. Dixie Union, a son of Dixieland Band, sets a new stakes record 135-3 for the mile. The colt breaking the old mark of Bob Baffert's Souvenir Copy in 1997. Dixie Union is trained by Richard Mandela and has won 4 of his 5 starts, finishing second in the other. Dixie Union, a $425,000 Keeneland sale purchase. Jockey Alex Solis says he's really impressed with this 2-year-old. Still no decision, though, if he'll join Bob Baffert's Forest Camp at Gulfstream Park on Breeders' Cup Day. Stay with us. We'll be right back to preview this weekend's Spinster Stakes at Keeneland. ESPN's presentation of National Car Rental Racehorse Digest is being brought to you by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. And by Walmack, winning the world over. Well, a couple more thoroughbred racing stars have headed to the sidelines for the rest of the year. Trainer Dick Mandela has announced his Millionaire Malik has some back problems. He's through for the year. And Elliott Walden's going to rest Menifee. Came out of the Super Derby a bit banged up. Menifee, winner of the Haskell Stakes, came out of the Super Derby not quite right. So Elliott Walden said Menifee will get the rest of the year off. Well, this will be another big weekend of major Breeders' Cup Day prep races around the nation. Our NTRA Racing to the Breeders' Cup Series has a Saturday-Sunday doubleheader for you. First on Saturday on ESPN from Keeneland at 3 Eastern, the Three Chimneys Spinster Stakes. This will feature among the top fillies and mares, Banshee Breeze. Banshee Breeze winning the Go for One here, trained by Carl Naskra. She'll be ridden for the first time by Hall of Fame jockey Pat Day. And on Sunday from Keeneland, it's the Walmack Al-Zubaydi Stakes on ESPN2, Sunday at 5 Eastern on NTRA Racing to the Breeders' Cup. But before all that, we invite you to join us this Wednesday, October 13th at 2:30 Eastern, the West Virginia Classics featuring Me No Sissy. The 11-year-old gelding, his 8th straight classic. That's the West Virginia Breeders' Classics, Wednesday, 2:30 Eastern. Special replay, October 31st at 6 Eastern on ESPN.
Ground transportation provided by National Car Rental, the official car rental company of the National Thoroughbred Racing Association.
Let's go!
Oh, what a great weekend of thoroughbred racing action we had for you this past weekend. And among the stars that everybody enjoyed seeing, Chuluki. Chuluki remains perfect, 6 for 6. This 2-year-old filly will be the favorite for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile fillies. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Go.com.